I really hope everybody who is listening around the international community does take in those tips. Some of these conversations today, we're dealing with a lot of technical things that is a foreign language to some of us and is really familiar for others. So I do invite you to, of course, watch the clips tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have them all uploaded on our Odyssey and Float channels, of course, and you can find them there. You can find them through our website. So the next two speakers, the last couple speakers for this evening, I'm excited about this because they are here in person in ZWA with the rest of our community here. And they're going to continue this discussion on decentralization, on blockchain, on how we can use technology in a liberating way. And before we get into the next speakers, I did want to kind of just pose some questions out there, because clearly I am a person that embraces technology. I use technology for the great tool that it is, but I also do have kind of my own limits and boundaries. Like, I don't carry a cell phone. I don't use a cell phone because it's one of my personal decisions to keep me from being plugged in so much, right? There's certain things I eschew and try to avoid. And I want to start having that conversation as well, right? Because we're talking about privacy and we're talking about decentralizing social media and the internet itself. We also have to ask ourselves, in what role are we playing in this whole thing? Because we do play an active role one way or the other. So if we're putting Amazon Echoes in our homes and Alexas, and if we're putting doorbell cameras in our neighborhoods, they might seem useful. But if you've seen any of my journalism on this, I've been researching it for years. Just as an example, briefly, Amazon has created this facial recognition software called Rekognition. It's spelled with a K, R-E-K. And they've been selling it to police departments all around the country. At the same time, people are installing the Ring doorbell camera, which is now owned by Amazon, and other similar doorbell cameras. And at the same time, the police departments around the country are starting to ask neighbors to voluntarily let the cops feed into those cameras. So you might be on the opposite side of your street and the police could be feeding into your neighbor's doorbell camera. And now imagine, as all of those doorbell cameras are getting connected to police databases, government databases, and then you add Amazon facial recognition software on top of them. I mean, we are building the surveillance state. In a lot of ways, we are the ones contributing to it. Yes, it's voluntary, but we need to think about that maybe every time the latest new tool and gadget comes out, whether or not it's worth losing more privacy, because at the end of the day, we do have we have the power to shape how much information we give away and how much we choose to keep close to our chest. And in our digital world, we're constantly, giving information away. That's why we're on email lists and all these different things. And it can be very dangerous as we're starting to become more aware. So I just want to get those thoughts out there, really thinking about what role technology plays in your lives, which ways are good and positive, and which ways maybe we need to make adjustments. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up a recent friend, somebody who I'm getting to know lately, who is a really brilliant mind and has some great ideas to share with you guys. He is here tonight representing the Governor DAO team, and he's going to talk to you all about DAOs, which are Decentralized Autonomous Organizations, and how they can be applied not only for the system and the kind of network we're building, the Freedom Cell network, but for your businesses or for your family or your relationships or your office, whatever it may be. He's going to talk to us about a lot of these exciting ideas, and we're going to hear more. Please welcome to the stage Arc from Governor DAO.
Awesome. Well, I think he might have just did a better job than I did. So, all right. So I'm going to talk about decentralized autonomous organizations and how that all modern businesses and organizations in the future will all go this direction for a better decentralized future. So what is a DAO? A DAO is an organization that's free from centralized control. So since a DAO is on the blockchain, it's decentralized by nature, and it's not governed by one centralized entity. So it cannot be shut down and it cannot be stopped. Another powerful part is that it's autonomous. So it uses smart contracts that work automatically to execute the code. And the organization part is it's governed by its own set of rules, and you can decide the rules of the organization to different kinds of participation on voting. So the main thing is DAOs are, you get a governance token, and that is your vote. So if this was like an election that you wanted an honest election, then a DAO is going to be one of the best places that you can utilize this, because your vote actually counts. So like let's pretend like the U.S. government wanted to do an actual legit election. So they would give an address to every single person with a social security number, a vote token. Everybody has one vote token, okay? And everybody that's alive and currently would be able to would get this token. Then you would just go on the internet. You can choose like A, B, or C, whatever. But your vote gets signed on the blockchain and is immutable, and you can't take it off, and it ensures a fair election. This is just one example of how decentralized voting can happen on the blockchain. DAOs also, like I said, they're autonomous because they execute smart contracts automatically. So there's no need for a middleman to do anything. It's automatic. So even if businesses do not want to be decentralized, they're all going to go this direction in the future, because it's going to save tons of money, and they're not going to have lawyers, CEOs, CTOs, or anything like that, because the community actually runs the entire project. So the community members have all the power. So the people actually get the power. So this governance token that all DAOs have are immutable, and they're recorded on the blockchain forever. So proposals on the blockchain, basically the direction that you want the DAO to go, the community votes for this. So it's important to educate everybody on exactly what you're voting for, because you can set it up to where however many people need to, like a 50 or 60% need to be passed. That could be a proposal, but no matter what happens, the proposals always get implemented. So the community and organization chooses the direction of the progress, instead of just like a few people in a room, deciding the entire, course of action. A DAO is the community run, so, which is great. So everybody that holds the token has a stake in the network. So you basically own a proportion of the network. Okay, so that's just a little bit about what a DAO is. Now I'm gonna talk about what Governor DAO is and kind of how it started. So Governor DAO was actually started from grassroots community project that was previously another project called CB DAO. And CB DAO was going to try to be the DAO of DAOs. It was going to have a sandbox to where you can try all sorts of governance models, participation to see what works best for, the community. And this project ended up doing a rug pull, and it took everyone's money. And a lot of people lost millions of dollars. So we decided as a community to get together and actually do this ourselves and revive it. So there was a resurrection that happened, and we created Governor DAO from the ashes of another project called CB DAO. So it's community driven and grassroots from the very beginning. And so one way of how the governance tokens get distributed, because it needs to be a fair distribution, is that there's a thing called liquidity mining. And this is a decentralized finance that we have. So basically, you can mine the governance tokens by depositing or staking them from your wallet. So you can do this by depositing like popular cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, multiple others, and then you get rewarded GDAO tokens or governance tokens, and this is your voting power. So this way, there's a fair, even distribution of tokens that runs for like 3 to 4 months. So everybody has a chance to collect these tokens. And this is how voting works with your tokens. So once you get your tokens, you can vote with your tokens with a snapshot that happens at a certain time. It takes into account all of the tokens on the blockchain at the time, and you're able to cast your vote with the power of the amount of tokens that you have. So one token is worth different than 1,000, so it encourages people to hold tokens in the network and the community. You also get rewarded. It encourages participation and good behavior in the community. So you get rewarded in the native governance token. So it encourages you to help out the community and as much as possible in order to reap the reward. So the main thing that's important in a DAO is everybody has a say in a DAO instead of just, a few people deciding the entire fate of everything. Oh, I was gonna also mention that since this was a community grassroots project, then you can also use a DAO for previously existing communities. So for an example, we can use Freedom Cells for an example. So Freedom Cells could form a DAO, and they could have a cell token for all community members to vote on, and you can also use it for a currency within inside of the organization, so you don't have to use the fiat system unless you want to. So we have technologies now that you never have to use the current fiat system ever again. It's a completely decentralized way of life that we've been building. So yeah, so this is just actually a really cool science experiment to see how voting and governance, will work without an actual government and people telling people what to do, because we at Governor DAO, we believe we can govern ourselves, and we don't need dictators telling us what to do. So you can create your own rules and have a legit sort of democracy based on what the community wants. So basically, it's all about what the community wants. Anything that you want to do for the project will get voted on, and then the developers will implement that after it's voted on. So having a say in the direction of the community is pretty awesome. Hey.
All right, can we get a round of applause for Arc being here with us tonight? I have a couple questions, and if anybody here with us wants to ask questions, or anybody online, we'll be watching the feed right now. If you have specific questions, I want to ask you a question, though, brother. So he mentioned that Governor DAO could be used for a freedom cell, and you could generate a coin if somebody wanted to that could be used in different ways. But let's talk a little bit more specifically. In what ways would you say, what are the benefits, or a couple of benefits of choosing to use something like Governor DAO for my freedom cell, my group of 7 to 8 people? what benefits could I gain as far as trust or maybe other ways using Governor DAO as opposed to not using it? You know what I mean? Like, how could it improve our work together?
So you could use Governor DAO just to be a part of the community. But if you already have an existing community, then you could release it that way. But you would basically be piggybacking on our current existing community, and you can create sub DAOs. We're eventually going to be able to let people make sub DAOs within. So you could have like a sub Freedom Cell DAO or something like that. But you would be piggybacking off of our existing tokens and our community. So that's pretty much what you would be piggybacking on.
And so by using, because Governor DAO is on a blockchain, right?
Yes, it's on the Ethereum blockchain.
So by using that blockchain, is that going to, like, for instance, in the area of trust, right? If we have a Freedom Cell of 7 to 8 other people, maybe our first meeting, we decide on what are the principles we're interested in, right? Or the projects or the goals. By using Governor DAO, is there a way we can kind of incorporate that to just have a place that is like like blockchains are, an immutable kind of unchangeable place where we can put our principles or our projects or things like that? Could it be used in that way as well?
Yeah, that's actually what it's intended to do, is so all the votes can be looked back on and be accounted for. They're all public. And also what DAOs don't have right now, and what I want them to have, is like privacy layers, because right now there's no privacy on Ethereum pretty much. So a lot of the DAOs are lacking the privacy aspect. But what they do really good at is everything is public as far as votes go, so you can see exactly who voted for what and when, and there's no arguing. It's immutable. So there's no way elections could be, for example.
So this, like I was correct earlier when I said it could be used by businesses or any type of organization. Yeah. Cool. John, did you have any questions you wanna pose? Let's see if we can get John on the screen, or anybody here in the audience have a particular question. I'm not sure how experienced people are with DAOs in the first place. I mean, how long has the concept of DAOs been around? Just a couple of years, right?
Yeah, well, in 2013 actually was the first mention of a DAO, and that was by Dan Larimer. And basically, he didn't come into use of it, but in 2016 was the first DAO, and it got hacked. So DAOs got a bad rap for a long time. Most people didn't want to do it again. But now DAOs are coming back, and mainly because, it's like small businesses and all organizations in the future, if you don't want to be censored and you don't want to be shut down, definitely should look into forming a DAO. And in the future, it's actually going to be a lot easier to create a DAO. Like right now, you have to have a lot of programming and Solidity and stuff on Ethereum. But in the future, then there's tools being built right now to where you can just choose what you want your name to be for a DAO, and then you push a button, and then bam, you're going to have a DAO. So this is in the works now. Eventually, this technology is going to come out to where anybody can form a DAO and be on the blockchain.
I have a question for you. Can you share a little bit more about that tale of what happened with that original DAO? It was a big smart contract. People put millions, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. It was on the Ethereum blockchain, and then it got hacked, although maybe there was just an exploitation in the smart contract. And then Vitalik Buterin, I don't know if he had consensus when he did this, they actually rolled back the Ethereum blockchain and basically undid that, which defied the whole principle of something being immutable, which is you can't go back and change things. Can you riff on that a little bit, and maybe as a cautionary tale, share what a crypto community or a community can do to avoid that? Was it just Vitalik had too much power in Ethereum, or what's that all about?
Yeah, that instance, that was Vitalik. So like if we wanted to do something for our DAO, since we're built on Ethereum, we couldn't fork that or anything ourselves. So that was because of the position that Vitalik was in, that he was able to do that. And I think that's also why Ethereum Classic split off from Ethereum a long time ago, is because it kind of went against the definition of what a blockchain was supposed to be. A lot of people believed that you shouldn't be able to go back and change things because it's supposed to be immutable by nature. So that was the argument on that part. But we couldn't do that ourselves since we're on Ethereum blockchain. That was kind of a special event that happened, And I don't think it can happen like that again because that was early on and Vitalik had a lot of pull back then.
Let's get a round of applause for ARC with us tonight from Governor DAO. We hope everybody at home who's watching will check out Governor DAO. I really do think that this is probably not just Governor DAO and what ARC's working on, his team's working on, but what decentralized autonomous organizations represent as a threat to power, to central organizations like banks, governments, etc. I think we are really just seeing the beginning of where this concept's going to go.
As we wake up to a new normal today and life is slowly grinding to a halt.
Now masks are becoming the new normal.
Americans are facing a new normal, one that may include losing their jobs, losing their income, and even losing their health insurance.
I don't think we get back to normal. I think we get back, or we get to a new normal.
It's time to reject the new normal.
Now is the historical moment, the time, not only to fight severe virus, but to shape the system.
It's time to reject the Great Reset.
It's time to support the People's Reset.
It's time for the Greater Reset.
From January 25th to the 29th, journalists, activists, researchers, and advocates are hosting the Greater Reset Activation, a 5-day event dedicated to offering an alternative to the World Economic Forum's top-down, centralized, authoritarian vision. Our desire is to help all people find community and liberty by providing practical steps and knowledge for co-creating a world that respects individual liberty, bodily autonomy, and choice.
The Greater Reset is the world's collective response to the World Economic Forum's initiative, the Great Reset. We invite you to join us for 5 days of discussion about the diverse opportunities available for those who seek to live in harmony with humanity and the planet, while respecting our innate freedom.
Each day is dedicated to a different domain and provides solutions to the WEF's vision. Day 1 is dedicated to the Agora and decentralized economics. Tuesday the 26th will focus on health and education. Day 3 will focus on nature, permaculture, and regenerative agriculture. Thursday the 28th will highlight the liberating side of digital technology, including encryption, blockchain, and decentralized autonomous organizations. On Friday, January 29th, we will end the event by showcasing examples of intentional communities, freedom cells, and community organizing.
Don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to hear from some of the most powerful speakers in the world with a focus on solutions. We encourage everyone to organize local watch parties in your area using freedomcells.org. Also, find out more about the Greater Getaway in-person event in Zihuatanejo, Mexico. Visit thegreaterreset.org for more information.